everyone, it's Miss Elaine from the Firehouse Art Center, and I am here in the gallery again for one of our online kids art classes. And today we have a painting and drawing class, and I am mixing a little bit of math and science into it. But our project for today are these flowers. It's a summer bouquet inside a vase or vase. But yeah, so we're going to be drawing some flowers using symmetry. And symmetry is a term that can apply to either math as well as design as well as science. So we're going to learn how to draw our flowers using radial symmetry. And I'm going to talk a little bit about bilateral symmetry and also spherical symmetry. So a couple of cool terms that you guys are going to hear in today's class, but we're going to be drawing our flowers with a permanent marker. And make sure it's a permanent marker because we're going to be painting over it with watercolor and we don't want it to smear or smudge. So whatever color you have, I've got black, I've got a thin black one, I've got this purple, so whatever colors you have, it doesn't really matter. You can use those to draw on your paper as long as they're permanent and water resistant. So like they won't melt or smudge or anything with the water when we paint over with the watercolor. Hi Julie, hi Joshua. So yeah, we're gonna get started with this. So as far as supplies, I told you guys you have to have your marker that is water resistant or permanent marker like a Sharpie. You need paper. Today I'm gonna be using this mixed media Canson paper, but really any kind of paper will work. If it does get wrinkly when you use the watercolor, just iron it after you're done and it should flatten back out. But so paper, marker, you're going to need watercolors, and I'm going to be using my pan watercolors today. Hi Liz. So yeah, so you can use pan watercolors or you can use my favorite, which is the liquid watercolors, but I'm going to use pan today so I can show you guys that you know, I do use my pan watercolors. I just really like the liquid ones. But anyway, so then you'll need a brush or a couple of brushes and a bowl of water. I am going to turn the screen down now, and then we can get started with our drawing portion. And then after we're done drawing, then we'll go to the painting. So hold 1 second. Just gotta turn this down so you can see. So I have this handy dandy cardboard thing on my work desk because I'm at the firehouse right now and I don't want to get paint all over my desk, so I have this down to protect my work surface. I just want to make sure that you guys can all see what I'm doing, so I'm going to find a good central place. That's good. I'm going to move my sketchbook to the side. And as always, I'm going to be drawing upside down so that you guys can see. I'll move my watercolor stuff to the front. And I will put my two drawings next to each other, just like that. Okay, so when we're talking about drawing flowers, these are going to be pretty simple flower shapes that we're going to do. So this is a great class no matter what age you are, and it's a really good kind of intro to using watercolor because the drawing that is underneath it won't get messed up when you paint over it. So it's kind of like having a coloring page for your watercolor. So I'm going to show you guys this. So this is what I'm talking about when I say symmetry. So a lot of the classes that we've done have used bilateral symmetry, which much like a person's face, it can be separated into a left side and a right side. So when you're thinking of drawing a person's face, you know that they have two eyes. So one eye on the right side, one eye on the left side. They've got two ears, one ear on the left side and the right side. The mouth crosses the central plane, as does the nose. And then that is how we draw the face. Now this is bilateral symmetry in nature. So here is an animal that exhibits bilateral symmetry. So it's a fly, and you'll see that there's an eye on this side, an eye on that side, and then leg, 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 and then wing, wing. So if the bug was split right in half, you would have symmetrical or same. The halves would be the same. Now, for radial symmetry, which is what we're going to be doing for these flowers today, it's kind of like a pie. So if this were a pie, you would have a slice here, a slice here, a slice here, and it's as if you're rotating it on a central axis, and each pie slice is going to be the same. So that is radial symmetry. And then spherical symmetry is a little bit different. So instead of having like a flat pie, you have like a whole ball. So if this is a pie, radial symmetry is a pie. Spherical symmetry is like a beach ball when you have those colors in the beach ball. So that is just my quick lesson on radial symmetry. And we're going to try and take those things that we learned about radial symmetry into our flowers. So I want you guys to think of your flowers as pieces of the pie. So what you want to do is, first, let's draw the vase that your flowers are going to be in. So I'm just going to draw with a marker, and I want you guys to realize there's no mistakes. That's why I'm drawing with a marker. So show you guys the mark that I put down. It might not be perfect, but there are no mistakes, and if I don't like it, I could just start over. No big deal. But that is the vase that my flowers are going to be in. So just one line all the way around. If you want to use a pencil and then draw over it with a marker, you can do that. But I just want to encourage you guys to not get so hung up on making those mistakes, because it's just art and it's expression, and everyone's vase is going to look different. So there's my vase right there, and I'm going to draw a whole bunch of flowers up here. Now I want to fill most of the space with flowers, and I want to think about that radial symmetry. So I'm going to start one, and I'm going to do it by putting a dot, and that is going to be the center of my pie. So if I were to draw a line all the way through it, just like that, and a line all the way through it just like that, and a line through the center, and it kind of looks like an asterisk or a snowflake. So you can start your first flower like that, and I'm just drawing little curves on the outside edge, and that is my first flower. So I started with the dot, made the lines going through the dot so that they were on each side. So it was as if it was a piece of pie, and then I made the curvy edges to make my flower. Okay, then I'm going to draw a stem and a leaf. Now the leaf, I'm going to draw some lines coming out of it, and these are the veins, and that's how the leaf transports water. Just like that. Okay, so that's my first flower. Then I can just experiment and create some other kinds of flowers using that idea that it's a pie, and each piece I'm going to try and make the same. So that's the center, and then going all the way around I can have flower petals. And it's totally up to you what kind of flower you want to make, but just kind of experiment. So if you look at these, there's the center, and then I drew the petals going around it. Here's the center for this one, and then I drew the petals going around it like this. This one I just used a dot and I drew circles. So just kind of mess around with your flowers. I think I'm going to draw a couple more of these. So that's just a dot, then a line through, that central dot, and then I can make my flower petals. Just like that. Ta-da! So, getting more flowers, and I think I'll do one of those circle ones. So I start with a dot, I draw a circle around it, just like that. So these flowers don't have to be super realistic. And I can draw, so this one I had some kind of like bending over, so I'm going to draw some flowers down here too. So I'll start with a circle in the center, and I can do the petals coming off of it. So just repeating that all the way around. Then I can even do petals in between each of them. And that one's kind of a droopy flower coming off the side. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flowers. How many did I have here? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I need to do a couple more. You don't have to have 7, but I do like to have a full bouquet of flowers. I'm going to do another one of these. I'm going to do a dot and draw a line through the dot and make it an X. And draw that line and then across. And then I can draw the petal edges. And if you want, you can draw like the center of the flower like that too. And make sure the stem goes into the vase. And I think I'm going to draw one more. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'll do a 7th one up here. So I kind of like the way that one looked. So how that looked, I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to do a dot. So let me see if I can bring it closer so you guys can see. So there's my dot. Then I'm going to do a line through it, just like that. And then a line through that. So now it's a big X, or T, I guess. Line through the center that way. A line through the center that way. Then at the edges, I draw a curved arch for the edge of my petal. And I'll draw a center right here for the center of my flower, and that's done. Then I can draw the stem. This stem I'm going to have go all the way down like that. And I'm just going to add some more leaves. Maybe right there. Okay. And you can write a little message on your vase right here. It was just the summer solstice, so we can write happy summer. So if you guys want to write that, you can. And now that we have our bouquet, our whole vase full of flowers, using that radial symmetry, we are ready to paint. So if you guys want to catch up, like if you guys still are drawing your flowers, take this time to catch up. I'm actually going to pull my watercolor so that you guys can see it. And I am going to load my watercolor with water. And that really is just putting drops of water into the pans so that the colors are ready to use when I want to use them. So this is just prepping your watercolors. It's called loading your watercolors with water. Now, if you were using liquid watercolors, you would pour the liquid watercolor in your palette, and since it's a liquid, you don't have to do this. This part is something you can skip. Okay. So I hope you guys are working on your bouquets if you're not finished. If you want to take the time to write Happy Summer on your vase, you can do that too. I am almost done with all the colors I want. I want purple. It's one of my favorite colors. So I'm going to load purple, and I really like these blue colors too. Those are pretty colors on my palette. The great thing about pan watercolors is you have such a wide range depending on how many colors you have in your pan, obviously. So now that we have our drawing all done, we can get to painting. And I have a couple brushes. So if you look, like this one is a smaller brush, so I'm going to get that into the water bowl. This one's a bigger brush, but it's flat. And then this one is a bigger brush, but it's more of a, see it, it's more of a mop. So it's got a bigger brush head too. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to do the smaller brush that I have, and I'm going to use my greens, and I am going to paint my leaves because I don't know if I have a real reason, just because I like painting my leaves first. And you can paint them all sorts of different green colors. You don't have to paint them all one green color. If you look in nature, there are variations of green even in the same plant. So find a green you like, or you can paint all sorts of different greens. Okay, did I get them all? Oh, I got them all. Okay, after you're done painting your leaves, you can actually paint your stems. Now the reason that I'm painting my stems now is because it's quite a fine line, and I want to paint it when my paper is dry so that it doesn't spread that much. And hopefully by the time I get to painting the background, my stems and leaves will have dried so that green will stay right in there and it won't spread too much. But if it does spread, that's okay. That's kind of the beauty of watercolor. As a wet medium, it does blend and spread more than acrylics or anything like that. So that is all I'm going to do for my leaves and my stems. So I'm going to bring it closer so you guys can see. So all my stems and my leaves are painted, and now I'm going to paint my flowers. Now, how to paint your flowers, it's totally up to you. If you want to paint them all one color, you can do that. I am going to paint this one red, and like I said, it's like having a coloring book with that permanent marker. You can just paint inside the lines. Or if it gets a little bit on the outside of the lines, that's totally cool too. So watercolor is a pretty open medium. You can let it spread and blend, or you can control it by having borders like this. I'm going to rinse that out, and I'm going to do the center blue. Just like that. So go ahead and keep painting. However you want to paint your flowers is totally fine with me. This was more about the drawing with the radial symmetry, and now we get to have fun painting them. So I'm going to do blues for this one, and I might actually even come in with some purples and blend it with the purples in the center of this flower, and then the blues to the outside. Now, since it's already blue, if I wanted to make it purple in the center, I could actually just take a little bit of red and mix it into the blue watercolor to make purple, because purple is blue mixed with red. So I'm going to actually do that, show you guys. So I can paint a little red in the center, and it mixes because it's still wet, and it turns into a really cool purple color. So you can do that if you want. And maybe I'll just keep the center red. Oh, see? It actually pulled it from the center into the flower, which is kind of cool. Okay, so keep going, guys. If you wanted to, you can paint a pattern of changing colors. So I'm going to do this one with a red petal and then a yellow petal, and it might blend because they are kind of close to each other. But if I leave that border of the marker and just paint right inside the marker, they won't blend. But you just have to be really careful. So that one is red and yellow. And once you start getting into the bigger flowers, you can kind of just, you can switch your brush too. If you're painting a bigger flower, you can use one of the bigger brushes. This one's like a purpley pink. I'm going to put yellow in the center and see if it mixes into an orange, and it does. So I'm going to move this so you guys can see. So you can see some of the watercolor blending. And this part right here is really just an experiment. You can just kind of have fun with the watercolor. Ooh, I really like that color. It's like a nice turquoise. I'll paint the whole flower that. Okay, let's see, maybe I'll paint this one yellow. I'll paint the whole thing yellow. Maybe I'll do a blue center, which is going to end up looking a little bit greenish because blue plus yellow makes green. Purple in the center here. And now I only have one flower to paint. That's this one right here. I'm going to do orange. And I'm going to do a purple center. Just like that. So that is my painting right there. Now what you can do now is you're going to take a big brush and you are going to paint the background. Now it's okay if the colors blend. Obviously as you're painting around it, you might not be able to get super close and get all those tiny little lines. If you want to be more precise, you can switch over to your smaller brush, but I am actually going to use my big brush, and I'm going to do purple in the background, and I'm going to try and get close to those flowers, and if I kind of overlap and the colors blend and mix, that's okay. This lesson's all about the drawing of the flowers, but then experimenting with the watercolors. So if this is one of your first times using watercolor, this is a great lesson for you to see how it works. If you want to use more than one color in the background, you can. See how that goes. If you are using a thinner paper, at this point you might see that your paper is wrinkling, but that's okay, because after you're done painting, what you can do is just iron it and it'll go back flat. So, and then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to paint our vase. So I want you guys to think about what color you want to paint your vase. Because purple's complementary color is yellow, I think I might paint my vase yellow. If you want to think about your background color and what the complementary color for that is, if you painted it in blue, blue's complementary color is orange. If you painted it a red, red's complementary color is green. So if you wanted to turn it into a lesson on complementary colors, you could do that. So keep going, guys. If you want to switch to a smaller brush, you can when you're going around these leaves, but as you can see, I am not, and that's okay, because this lesson isn't about being precise with your watercolors. So it's okay if there's those white spaces, and it's okay if you can see the brush strokes, and it's okay if it blends a little. That's why watercolor is one of the harder mediums, because it's so hard to control. It just goes with the water, and you know, you're never going to get that precise color that you would get if you were using just a marker, or if you were using a thicker paint like acrylic or oil. And of course the brush you choose makes a difference too. Okay, so I'm almost done with, I got the top kind of painted through. Add some more into these areas. So keep going, guys. So now with these big spaces, I can kind of like paint a little bit faster and then slow down as I get to the edges. And big space, paint a little faster. And slow down when I get to the edges. Since we painted the greens first, I can even go over the greens a little bit for the stem, and it kind of paints over it. And color this purple. And I am almost done. And ta-da! So that is my summer bouquet of Radial Symmetry flowers. I'm going to add a little bit more color in some of the lighter areas. And the last thing I'm going to do is paint my vase yellow. So I'll find my brightest yellow. class, you now have a watercolor painting of flowers that are designed with radial symmetry or something kind of along that level, where they are kind of like a pie. So this right here is my blue flower pie, and I could turn it, turn, and as I'm designing it and turning it, it is like having sections of a pie for radial symmetry. And then we painted with our watercolor. We experimented with using a wet on dry technique because we painted it directly onto the paper while it was dry. As you could tell, like when we were doing our stems and our leaves, there was less blending going on because it was a wet medium, but the paper was dry. When we started painting our flowers and kind of blending within the flowers while the surface was wet, there was a little bit more blending going on, and we lost a little bit of that control of staying within the lines for coloring. But it's all an experiment, and it's all kind of getting you used to different kinds of art mediums. And this one was really fun. I had a really good time making this one. I'm going to turn the screen up, and I'm going to tell you guys what our project is for Thursday. I'm super excited. It is hopefully you guys can see me. The screen's gone black again. I don't know what's going on with my computer, but I hope you guys can see me. But our class on Thursday is going to be super fun. We're going to be doing salt dough. So if you guys have never made salt dough with me before, we're going to mix it during the class. So we start out and we mix it, and then we make our project with it. Now, I'm going to make it with you. I'm going to make our project, but then I'm going to have one that's already dry so that you guys can see me paint it. But we're going to be making flower paperweights with salt dough. When you guys are done making it, what you're going to have to do is bake it in an oven at 250 degrees. So make sure you have an adult help you with this one. You just put it on a tray on parchment paper, stick it in an oven that is heated up to 250 degrees, and leave it in there for like 30 minutes to an hour. It'll get pretty solid depending on how thick you've made it. But while we're going through our lesson, we'll try and make it so that it is less than a ½ inch thick. So anything more than a ½ inch thick takes a really long time to bake. So, but yeah, we're going to make flower paperweights using salt dough, and then at the end I will paint mine and show you how mine turns out. But for salt dough, you're going to need salt, flour, and lukewarm water. As far as painting it, you're going to need acrylic or tempera, and watercolor actually works. It just doesn't get that like vibrant color that you would get with acrylic or tempera. But yeah, the ratios are 1 cup of salt to 2 cups of flour to 1 cup of lukewarm water. But we're not going to do that much. I think we'll probably do ½ a cup of salt and 1 cup of flour. But that's our class for Thursday. I'm really looking forward to it. I know that our astronaut and moon surface class that we had with the salt dough a little while back was super fun, so I'm looking forward to this one as well. But thank you so much, guys, for watching with me. My name's Elaine Waterman. I'm the Executive Director at the Firehouse Art Center. We're currently open right now with appointments for most of the days, and then open for walk-ins for Saturdays. But check our website for our hours. It's firehouseart.org. And also just check out our website. We're doing a whole bunch of cool things, and we'd love to see you in the gallery if you would like to come in. But if not, we're going to keep going with these classes until the end of summer and, evaluate at that point. But I love doing them. I hope you had fun too. Send me your artwork if you would like, and you'd like to see it on the Firehouse Facebook page. But my email is elaine@firehouseart.org, so you could send it to me there, or you can post it on the event page that is related to this class. You can post it there, and I'll find it there as well. But thanks again for coming. I hope to see you on Thursday, and I hope to see you at the gallery sometime soon. Bye, guys.